Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, the internet's favorite loser, signing back on once again to bring you guys another video. We're not back here on Borderlands 2, however, and this is not a gameplay video. Well, it's more of a gameplay trailer reaction video through the eyes of the OG, one of the OGs, Morning Afterkill. I used to watch him and Yote all the time. I used to learn all sorts of tips and tricks from people like Baru, Gothalion, Jolts dude on the rise. Handsome Jack boy. I was big into the Borderlands community, and unfortunately, Morning Afterkill has had some issues not only with Gearbox but other content creators in the Borderlands community. And hopefully that's not what I'm going to become. I'm a nobody, but I just wanted to strike up a conversation. And I doubt that Mac is ever going to see this or respond to it. But I just want to get everybody's consensus. Hold on. Let me preface this also. I'm very sick, so if I sound sick, it's because I am sick. Um, so let's go ahead. My boy here dropped a new video that I watched the other day, and kind of I agree on most things, but at the same time, I don't know. Like we'll get there. Let's check it out first.
Guys, it's Jay, Morning After Kill, and I'm back with some more Borderlands 4 pre-release coverage. Man, Gearbox has finally released more than the previously shown 10 seconds of Borderlands 4 gameplay. And my first reaction was, this looks like Borderlands 3.
Before he gets into what he's about to say, which I partially agree with what he's about to say, the only thing is though, is when I watched this gameplay trailer, I thought the gameplay looked really good. And trust me, I'm not a fan of Randy Pitchford's behavior in the past. I don't agree with how he handles things and how he kind of like has meltdowns. I also don't agree with the censorship that's going on in the Borderlands 4 community tabs here on Steam, where it's just extreme censorship. So I don't agree with the company, but I do, as a Borderlands fan, I want to believe this game is going to be good. So I'm going to let him say what he's about to say, but I just wanted to preface that before it came up.
And my first reaction was, this looks like Borderlands 3. And I know, there's gonna be somebody in the comments that clearly clack Mac, it's Borderlands. Of course it's gonna look like Borderlands 3. But that wasn't my point. My point being is that it doesn't look like Gearbox took any of the criticisms of Borderlands 3's art style into consideration while making this game. And I'm not just talking about the weird, puffy cheek character redesigns. And I'm certainly not going to point out that a developer making a game where the bajillions of guns are the focus have so little understanding of firearms that in the Borderlands 4 trailer, we see them shove not just one, but 2 magazines into a double barrel pump action shotgun.
I was just going to stop him right there because Borderlands has never been a series about realism, right? So the point that he's making is it would make sense if this was a Call of Duty or like a realistic shooter here. But I don't. The guns have never been realistic, all right? You got things like the Unkempt Herald, the North Fleet. You got, You know what I mean? Like the guns have never been realistic, so I never really expected Gearbox to make realistic guns. You know what I mean? Or like realistic mechanics or reloading mechanics of guns. There's guns that literally shoot mini rockets. There's guns that literally shoot. Uh, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. You know what I mean? It's just I didn't really understand what he was going for here. So that's just my opinion though.
To reload it. No. I'm talking about the insane amount of visual pollution and noise presented in this trailer. In multiple shots from this trailer, you can see quite a few times where the visual effects are taking up 70% or more of the player's field of vision. Whether it's a psycho simply exploding, action skills being used,
This is the part though where I completely 100% agree with Mac. Like 100%. And didn't realize it before either, but like there was a reason that I was having issues like hitting targets in Borderlands 3 because sometimes there would be so much shit going on that I just would lose focus and track of the enemy. And I would just like go, well, I have bad vision anyway, so maybe I'm just getting too old to play these games. But then I would go back and I would play older games and I would be fine. So like, I take it so like it really did hit me like, yeah, there's just too much shit going on the screen to like really keep track of where the enemies are. So this is where I 100% agree with them, and I do agree that the fact that they got this criticism, but Gearbox hardly listens. You know what I mean? And they do what they think in their heart or in their wallets is the right decision. But I'll let him finish his train of thought here.
or rainbow buttholes being formed on the screen. The over reliance on ooh, bright and shiny in a game franchise that started out in a dark, drab, post apocalyptic wasteland it is not only visually jarring, but after longer playtimes, causes more visual strain than the average game, leading to gamers needing breaks more frequently, which ultimately has people playing your game less.
And he hit the nail on the head right there, 100%. Like I said, it didn't hit me until he like actually brought it up, and it's like, oh, you know what? That's 100%. It's like really messing with my vision and my eyes. And to go back to a game like Borderlands 1, where like he said, it's a post-apocalyptic wasteland, which Borderlands 1 had some, it had its nice environments too. Like it was never. See, my biggest issue with the pre-sequel is it was always the same color and it was always like dark and gray. And I think in Borderlands 2, like Borderlands 2 nails it. Like Borderlands 2 had like awesome looking environments. It was bright, but it wasn't like ridiculous like in 3. Um and 100% that could have been fixed with just adding some sliders. 100%, like just add some sliders and then we would be perfectly fine where we can turn it off. I'll let him continue.
Just look at the difference between a single exploding fire barrel from Borderlands 2 to Borderlands 3.
It was actually crazy because before, like, so the barrels don't really mess with me that much. Like the barrels aren't my biggest issue. But I wanted to like replay that shock
Yeah,
barrel.
but it doesn't just end there.
I want to play the shock barrel one real quick because that's like too much. That's too much. That's got too much going on. And I'm talking about like for my epileptic people. You know what I mean? That's just too much. That could cause a seizure, and that's where like I like a simple fix is just I adding sliders to turn it down or turn it up or like however people want to play. You know, I feel like they make these games now for the TikTok generation that need like constant stimulation and like they need crack or something. You know what I mean? Like this is just too much. Like I said, Borderlands 1 and 2 pretty much nailed it as far as like the effects and stuff. Um but I will say that Borderlands 3 is a still a fun game to me. Um I know it's not perfect, but honestly like the end game is a lot of fun and I enjoy playing Borderlands 3 endgame. I agree that shit like the anoints and stuff like that were stupid, and I hope that does not make a return in Borderlands 4. Because that was just ridiculous. The farm for that, the right anoint that you would like, you know what I mean? It was just stupid. So, but 100% like, I really did not understand like why am I missing my targets? There's like just a lot of stuff going on, and playing Borderlands 3 again, it's not where it's just where I have to put the game down. I'm just like questioning why I'm not. There's just sometimes where the screen is just full of enemies and there's full of like explosions and shit, and then I just can't hit nothing. So, like I said, I have bad vision as it is. So like, take my opinion with a grain of salt as well.
Yeah. But it doesn't just end there. You see, in Borderlands 1 and 2, Gearbox used a technique that gave the game a cel shaded look by overlaying black lines around hard edges of the environment. However, due to the technical limit,
Which before he goes on into like the consoles and stuff, it gave Borderlands that Borderlands feel, and I'm glad that he brought up that technique because, like I said, they nailed it in 1 and 2, and then he's about to mention like why it just doesn't work in the newer games here.
limitations of the time, this visual style wasn't a really big issue. You see, because it was developed during the Xbox 360's era of hardware. Hardware that was sporting 500 megabytes. Now, repeat that. Not gigabytes. I'm talking about megabytes of RAM.
Yeah, that was see, when I was younger, I didn't understand like technology and stuff, so I didn't understand what made a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox 360 run. But later in life, as I became a PC gamer and I've worked with PCs and like discovering that the PS3 and PS4 or the PS3 and PS or Xbox 360 basically had less than a gigabyte of RAM, that was insane to me. Um, and then hearing like the PS4 had like 8 gigs of RAM or whatever. Um, but to put it in perspective, my phone now has 12 gigabytes of RAM, which is like so much more powerful than a 360 or a PS3, which is just insane.
By comparison, the phone in your pocket is probably somewhere between 50 to 100 times faster than this architecture of the time. So texture space was limited, which meant less detailed textures being used. However, this worked to Gearbox's advantage. As you can see in Borderlands 3, the more detailed that the textures get, the less they stand out against the rest of the background.
100%. Like it just becomes a bunch of mesh together. It just starts, especially for somebody like me that can't see shit anyway. It just begins to look like a blur of the same kind of shit. It just looks like a mesh of blocks. Like really.
leading to everything just kind of congealing into a coagulated mess of muddy black line textures everywhere, making the game not only uglier than past games, but also making it harder to play and track enemies to the point that majority of the time that I play Borderlands 3, I'm just looking at red dots on the mini map because I can't see a goddamn thing.
This gameplay is ridiculous. That is like so bad. Like, dude, honestly, that is ridiculous. Oh my god. Um, I mean, like, yeah, I've never like when I throw a Stormfront in Borderlands 2, like I don't get like I'm about to have a seizure. You know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck is going on here. This is ridiculous. Um, but no, I like I said, I completely agree with him on the Borderlands 3. Like, there's just too much going on. Um, Sometimes though, it feels like Mac is just a little bit bitter about like how things went down. And I was trying to really understand the whole beef with him and K6 and the gearbox stuff and like from what I can understand, it was I understand why he's a bit bitter, but sometimes it feels like he wants this game to fail. And I'm of the complete opposite. Like, I want this game to succeed, but I do agree that Gearbox has to listen to us to make it succeed. So I just get the feeling from Max sometimes that he just wants Borderlands to fail because he hates Gearbox, and I think that's the complete. I'm 100% I might be wrong, but sometimes I just get that bitter feeling of just spitefulness coming out of his mouth. Sometimes,
While I'm playing. So, yeah, when I say that this looks just like Borderlands 3, don't take that as a compliment because it's not. It's a complaint. Because Gearbox had 7 years since Borderlands 3's launch to listen to the community when they complained about it in 2018. We also had the 3 years since Wonderlands released, where once again people complained about the visual pollution and
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands does not exist. That game is a fucking mess. The game is a mess, and it's just for they just wanted something to make some cash. That game is a mess, and I don't know what the hell it's supposed to be. I don't know if it's supposed to be. I don't know. It's not Borderlands to me. It just doesn't hit. Um, I don't know. I honestly forget that the not the pre sequel. I forget about that game too, but I honestly forget that Tiny Tina's Wonderlands even exists because of how much of a mess that game was, and there's just nothing to it. It's just boring, and like I said, I enjoy playing Borderlands 3, but I now understand why I have those issues while I play it. But I do enjoy the game, especially fighting bosses and stuff like that. Um, Mac doesn't enjoy Borderlands 3 from everything that I've seen. Um, I actually do enjoy Borderlands 3, and I think it had some good things in it. Um, so that's where I'll have to like disagree a little bit with them. I do actually think that Borderlands 3 had some good stuff in it, but there is a reason that most of the content creators are still playing Borderlands 2, including myself. I mainly upload Borderlands 2, so I get that. You know what I mean? But I do still enjoy Borderlands 3, and there's a lot of people that still play Borderlands 3. If you look at like SteamDB and check the player numbers, there's at least 5,000 people on it pretty much on a nightly basis. And Borderlands 2 has about 3 to 4,000 players on a nightly basis, and that's just on PC. So on Steam, and well, it's good to see that these two games do have a player base still. But I do enjoy what Borderlands 3 tried to do. What I don't enjoy is the fact like that there's no real rocket jumping or like grenade jumping, and basically your only movement ability would be to get a victory rush, where you can just slide, get like the 128% movement speed or whatever, and slide around. So I do agree that they need it to basically make Borderlands 3 more like Borderlands 2. See, I think Gearbox really missed what made Borderlands 2 so popular. And they kind of semi got a little bit of it with Borderlands 3, but then just kind of missed the mark completely anyway. Yeah.
No sliders in game to tone them down.
And that's where I think it's completely stupid, is that there's no slider options. I mean, come on. For a game that came out in 2019, they should have understood that they needed to, give us a lot more options with it. And turning down the effects probably would have been on the top of that list anyway. I don't know how they missed that completely. And like he says, like Max says, people have complained about it, and they just refuse to listen to their own fan base, and that kind of baffles me sometimes. It just doesn't make any sense.
And here we are in 2025, seeing our first look of Borderlands 4, and still they haven't listened about the visual pollution cluttering the screen, or even try to pull back and minimize on the over detailing of environments. Because Gearbox is Gearbox, and Gearbox is going to continue gearboxing whether we like it or not. And Gearbox won't stop gearboxing until you stop putting money in their motherfucking pockets. Please believe that. So, my name is Jay. Morning After Kill.
And that's where I feel like the bitterness comes out again. Because okay, listen, I do agree with not putting money in bad developers' pockets. Same reason I boycotted Activision many years ago. It's the same reason I boycotted EA. Same reason I boycotted Ubisoft. Same reason I've boycotted Blizzard. Same reason, you know what I mean? The list goes on. Um, I completely get it, but at the same time, a little bit of hypocrisy comes up for me, because Borderlands is special to me. It's something that me and my brother have played together for years, you know what I mean? And we've had so many good moments on it. I really, really need Borderlands 4 to be good. I need this game to hit. And I just need it because I need something to sink my teeth back into, something that I would love. I don't want to see the original looter shooter die off. I feel like after the movie fiasco, that if this game does not hit, this franchise and Gearbox in general is just fucked. And part of me is like, yeah, good riddance, fuck Gearbox. And then part of me is like, dude, they need to give somebody else the rights to Borderlands. They need to give somebody, sell it to somebody that's gonna do good with it, you know. But I don't know. I really, really have hope that this game is gonna be good, because the gameplay in general looks good, and to me, from what I've seen in the trailer, it looks good to me. So I really, really, really would like this game to be good. And like I said, Mac, it just doesn't seem like he wants this game to be good. He wants to see Gearbox fail. And that's where we're a little bit different. What I would like to see is Gearbox completely get overhauled from management top down, um, and just a new Gearbox rise from the ashes. I do not want to see them go out of business entirely, but if that's what happens, that's what has to happen. Um, Ubisoft is facing Ubisoft. Ubisoft is trash. Ubisoft has been facing financial crisis too, because their games have been flopping left, right, and center. Um, but I don't know. To me, they can't make a good game. You know what I mean? But of course, you'll have the Assassin's Creed loyalist, that buy everything, every single Assassin's Creed game ever. Black Flag was great, and they fucked up Skull and Blows. Uh, when all they had to do was basically take the pirate stuff from Assassin's Creed Black Flag and put it in that game. I don't know how they messed that up so bad. Um, and they're just I don't know. I don't know how I got on a Ubisoft rant, but yeah, I agree with Mac's point with the there's just too much going on screen, but I also don't agree that like where he just seems bitter, you know what I mean? It just seems like he's kind of bitter sometimes. And again, I could be wrong. And please don't take this as me insulting Mac. Like I said, I grew up with Mac. I love Mac. I love all most of the OGs. I know Baru and him had issues, and I was never really that big of a Baru or Gothalion guy. I would watch some of their tips and tricks, but they were not entertaining to me. I was mainly Yoti Slayer. You know, I loved Yote from the custom zombie days. I was mainly with Yote. I would watch Morning After Kill, and then when Jolt's dude kind of hit the scene, I watched him. And I know that Mac and Schiller Six don't really like each other, and I don't have anything to say about that. I'm by the way, that's just what Matt calls them. I have no idea too much of their beef. I mean, I know a little bit, but I don't know. You know, that's their issue. But I'm just trying to have a conversation, strike up a conversation, and you know, I just want to hear what you guys think. I want to hear what you guys think. I'm hoping that we can all stay civil and just have some fun and talk. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here now, guys. I'm about to go sneeze, have a sneezing fit. And yeah, it's been the internet's favorite loser signing off. Till next time, my friends. Um, Goodbye and good night. Thank you for watching.